Hello, and welcome to Jason Cabin Experience. I'm a retired U.S. Army officer and CEO founder of Cabin's HR. At Cabin's HR, we provide HR to companies with 450 people by combining a tech platform with an HR business partner. The Jason Cabin Experience is brought to you by Breeze Docs. Requests for proposals, also known as RFPs, can be very challenging for small and medium-sized businesses. Breeze Docs, the RFP response platform of choice across North America, uses AI to help companies quickly complete RFP, security questionnaires, and other important business documents. To learn more, click the QR code on the screen. Cabin's HR is hosting Cabin's HR Seattle's Got Tech as part of Seattle Tech Week on July 30th. If you're building something, apply the demo by going to the QR code on the screen. Our guest today is Kika, and I won't say your full name because I'll mess it up, but you just go by Kika.
Yeah, but my full name is Francisca, Maria Francisca,
Nice.
Actually.
So before we get started, everything you're doing, can you tell us what you do for fun?
Travel, I love it. Travel and sports are like my go-to things when I'm not working.
So what kind of sports?
I run a lot.
Okay.
I play tennis. I used to play football.
When you say football, you mean soccer, correct?
I mean soccer.
Yeah,
soccer.
yeah.
The real football.
The football, yeah.
The
yeah.
real football.
The football, yeah.
I used to play a lot. I used to play for professional teams and stuff like that. Then I broke my ankle and I just quit. That kind of sport. But I love playing tennis and I love running.
Have you played pickleball?
Never. I want to try it so bad.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the less strenuous type. You know, the court's real small, the paddle's real small. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it like while I'm running. There's a couple of courts they're playing, and every time I go by one, I just look at it and try to wonder and understand how the game's played.
Yeah. How often do you go running?
Every day.
Like how far do you run?
5 miles.
Every day?
Yeah, try to.
How like?
It takes my mind out of.
Yeah.
I'm a person that thinks a lot. I'm usually thinking about things to do and relate on stuff, and it's the moment I go running.
And are you running? Are you running with music, or you just like just clean your head?
Actually, I'm running with a class. I'm running with a master class or something.
Okay.
I'm learning something new.
Okay. So talk about your company. It's called, I think it's called the Kickass Company.
Yeah.
How long has that been going on?
The Kickass was one of the latest companies I built. It's an agency basically. We sort services for companies that want to sell online. We're a Shopify agency. We tend to business that wants to build a website. They want to sell. We build it in Shopify. We teach them how to use the platform, and after that, we accompany them with a sales program, like defining a strategy and making it work in order to increase their sales.
Does the product sold on the platform matter?
90% it's product and 10% I would say it's services.
Okay, like what kind of products? Like water bottles or cameras, or just depends?
We work with a lot of brands back home. We've built more than 400 sites. We have Salomon, your sneakers.
Yeah.
That kind of brand. L'Occitane, Wilson, Infanti, which is like a child's company brand. We offer them services like mid-sized companies and not entrepreneurs, at least in Chile because they're too small, but mid-range companies basically.
So the products, they reach out to you, or do you reach out to them to bring them on the platform? How does that work?
They reach us. We go out and look for new customers, but they reach for us as one of the biggest agencies back home.
Yeah, what's the difference like being on Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, all these other different platforms?
One thing is the technology, and I say Shopify because it's the technology that we build the sites on. But there's a difference between the channels that you can use to offering your products to the market. For example, Amazon, it's a marketplace where you can offer your products to a broader audience. You can say that you can compare Amazon as being in a shopping mall rather than Shopify being the store. That's like the main difference between one another. And it depends on what you sell, which channel is best, because you can sell on your own store with a Shopify store, and you can also sell on Amazon, bringing new customers into your world.
They have a place like TikTok Shop, those kind of places. That comparable?
That's another channel.
Okay.
Imagine a store. So you have this store, and you want to reach a broader audience. So you have your own store. You build it like with your brand. For example, if I'm, I don't know, if I'm selling T-shirts, I have my website, mykickass-t-shirts.com, and I build that in Shopify. And I say, okay, my T-shirts, who's buying my T-shirts? Anybody, so I can sell them in Amazon because they're funny, I don't know, they have new organic materials that are really amazing. So I put the brand in Amazon and I sell through Amazon. And I also, I don't know, create a lot of content in TikTok about how amazing my T-shirts are, how the personality or what you win, like by using them just as content. And I can offer you, and somebody could say, oh, I love that T-shirt, I love they say the Kickass. So I buy one and I buy it through TikTok. And there are different channels to reach different audiences, I would say.
And like, how do you recommend someone which one to choose, or they should kind of use a combination of all of them?
It depends on what you sell and who you sell to. I think that one of the most important things that brands have forgotten is that they build the business towards a customer, and they gotta learn where he or she is. So I would say that it depends on the type of product that you do, which is the best channel. I would say for sure you have to be in social, because people is in social now. It depends if you are in the US, Amazon, it's a very big platform, so it's interesting to be, but maybe not. If you see the case of Nike, they were in Amazon, they left for a couple of years and they just came back because of all the things related to tariff and stuff like that. But it depends on where your customers are. I would say that if you're starting a business, you start in social, that's for sure. That's where people spend most of the time. Once you create brand awareness and everybody knows who you are, most probably is people gonna search either in Google what your brand is, or they would ask GPT or Gemini, somebody, that it's going to tell and do a web search. So they're probably going to try and reach your website. And if you want to take advantage of the amazing amount of people that's coming through Amazon, you can do that. But you gotta learn that being in Amazon, you have to pay for a position that they can show you. There are more than, I don't know the final number, but 10 million of products. So you're one needle in a haystack. So you gotta see where your customers are, where they spend most time, and that's where you wanna be.
So what kind of metrics or KPIs should people be tracking on all these platforms?
It depends on what, I usually answer it depends, but because I would say that I love looking at 4 KPIs, which are like the basic KPIs that can move a business, like shake a business. One is the amount of people that it's visiting your website, of course. You can see how many people you're attracting as a brand. 2, conversion. You see how many people is buying your products, comparing the amount of people that's coming to your site. 3, AOV, the average of your order value, how much you're charging for. And I would say that this is a different KPI, but I love it. Abandoned carts, which are the people that tried to buy but didn't end up buying. There are tons of reasons why they don't. So you have an opportunity because somebody made an intent of buying but didn't finish. So you have to go and capture that intent of sales.
I've heard some people do it on purpose. They know if they leave it abandoned, the company's gonna come and give them a discount.
Yeah. There's a common knowledge that if you abandon a cart, they're gonna give you something back, which is true. But there's a million reasons why people can abandon a cart. For example, you were at your house and your kids just arrived from school, so you didn't finish buying. You were doing or preparing something, so you just left it, or you were at work and somebody called you, your boss called you, so you just left it. Doesn't mean that you want exactly a discount or an offer, you just didn't finish the process.
So let's suppose we're having KPIs. Like, when should somebody change their game up? Like suppose a KPI has been bad for 2 months or 3 months. How long should a KPI be bad, so to speak, before they try to change it up?
How much time do you want to lose money? That would be the most significant thing that make you wonder if you can improve. What I've seen so far here, at least in the US, is that you have a very big market. You have more than 300 people, so if you go in a business that has kind of a good or medium way to solve a problem, people's gonna buy it. You're gonna make money, which is good. And making money usually covers bad KPIs. I will like try to wonder or think, can you make more money? Can you do something better? And if you do increase just a bit, you can double or triple your income. So I think it's worth it to take a look at the KPIs, define an objective, define a target that you want to achieve, and go after it. That's the way that we approach it, at least.
So how can someone learn how to sell? Because a lot of people are not good salespeople, right? How does someone learn how to sell?
I would say that there are 3 basic rules for selling. Number 1, you gotta know who your customer is, but know it in a deep sense of the word. Sorry. When I mean by know your customers, what usually most of our clients come with working with us, my customer is a female, she's 40 something, she works independently and she makes money. And we're like, okay, that's the basic stuff. Who are their friends? Where does she spend the time? What's their pain point? What's their dreams? What are the things that move that person? That's how you gotta learn who your customer is, because once you know that, you can go into number 2, which is show your products, your brand as the perfect solution for that pain or for that dream. And number 3, you know who you're selling to. You know how to approach your product or your service as the solution to that pain point. And number 3, make it easy. Make it easy to buy.
Is it so messed up? So many people make it hard to buy. Like I want to give you my money, but you make it so difficult.
I was talking to a business yesterday. They did sell chai tea, and they told me about this amazing attributes the product had, and this amazing flavor that usually I didn't know, but most of herbal teas taste like dust. They're not nice. But this was an amazing product because she made it like that because she hated every time that she drank the tea and it was off. And I thought, I'm not a chai drinker, so I didn't know, but I love it. Yeah, I would love to learn more about your product. We went into the website. Go and find or discover an amazing product. Okay, I'm here. I'm trying to find out. This is our history. Okay. You can find us here and find. And I was like, where's taste amazing? Where are all the attributes? Well, this is the version if you want to go for the office with my tea. Here's that. Make it easy. If I want tea and I want to see which offer do you have for me, which I'm a non-drinker, which I'm learning about it, just tell me, here, click here, do this, do that, put into the cart and pay. That's why I'm saying, if you go into a big retailer, for example, when you go into Macy's or, I don't know, H&M, you for sure, you go into the store. I bet you $100 that you're gonna see in less than 5 seconds where the cash register is. You're gonna see a big sign, you're gonna see it on the floor, they're gonna show it, they're gonna push it. You're never gonna get lost for that. That's making it easy. If I don't showcase it, if I don't point it out, the probable you're not gonna find it. If you don't find it, you don't buy.
Yes.
Same goes into e-commerce. You gotta show people, do this, put that into the cart, next step, go and pay. These are our frequent asked questions, our policies, our return policies. You know that back home, 38% of purchases are with returns. So 100 people's gonna buy, 38 are gonna return or change something. Where's your policy for that? How to make it easier? What happens if this t-shirt doesn't fit? If I don't like it? How do I return it? How you can make me sure that what you're offering, you're gonna honor your word, kind of like that.
So historically, has e-commerce sales traditionally gone up every year?
It's amazing. I would say it's a market that it's growing and it's never gonna end. If you see worldwide numbers, China, 50% of sales are online. In the US, 24% of sales are online. In countries like mine, Chile and Latin America, we're still around 10% of the total amount of sales. So there's a really big gap into developing this amazing thing. But even though I would say that because of the pandemic, lots of people learn how to buy online. And there was this big assumption that online would stay forever and we were going to run out all the brick and mortars, which is not happening. People is going to decide which world they want to participate. They want to go into the physics stores, in the brick and mortar, try, test, and see, and go back home and purchase online. That's the way that worlds are going to merge and work around. So, answering your question, yes. It's something that's been growing, and it's never gonna end, because there are gonna be new ways, maybe the way that you were used to having, I don't know, an online sales on 1995, it's gonna be totally different than the experience that you're having on 2025, and probably on 2028, not so far, with all the AI movement and stuff, it's gonna be different, but the feeling, the thing that's going beyond that, it's gonna be the same. You want your life easier and simpler.
So talk about your experience being a TEDx speaker.
Amazing. Now, I always dreamed about doing a TEDx. I learned a lot about TED Talks, so I'm a big fan of TED Talks. And after the pandemic, they called me and they told me that they were organizing this event about after the pandemic, now what? And they wanted to bring somebody that could teach or something about related to e-commerce. And even though it was the beginning of the talk, what they asked me to do, I end up talking about sales, my passion, and how to bring this non-traditional passion into a business.
And so you do a lot of public speaking. Like, how do you decide where to speak at, right?
How so? Sorry.
Like, like suppose 5 organizations say, come speak for us. We don't have time to speak at 2 of them. Like,
I know, I'm very picky.
Okay.
I'm very picky because I'm passionate about teaching people how to make their business grow. Because if you grow a business, there's a virtual circle that happens. The person who is in charge of the business empowers, because they're more successful, so they're happier. And once a company grows, they open more opportunities. And if they open more opportunities, they offer more jobs, and we can end up the poverty cycle. That's what I believe. So I'm always trying, in everything I do, is to teach, enable, connect, or habilitate, or whatever you want to call it, companies or small businesses to grow. So whenever I'm asked to give a talk, it depends on the public, if I go or not. It depends if I have something to add value, because even though they pay me for that, but if I'm not adding something, I don't like it, because I need to be passionate about the things I'm doing. So I usually pick the ones that have more impact, or the ones that are going to enable more businesses.
So a lot of people are scared of public speak, right? There's a stat out there, most people rather die than do public speaking.
It's the number one fear.
Yeah. What tips you have for someone to overcome this fear and actually
You're always gonna suffer. You're always gonna be nervous. I always have I think there are 100,000 butterflies on my stomach every time I have to go on stage. But I would say I was coming here. I was listening to this new podcast I found out, and there was these 2 girls talking about how you're never not gonna be afraid, but you gotta be courageous in order to go beyond your fear. And one of the things that I've been working for me a lot is to be prepared. I would say that I practice, I don't know, 20 times a talk before I give it, even though I've given the same talk 20 times. I don't know, I've talked in more than 200 stages so far. And I love it. I really love it. I enjoy it a lot. But every time I go on stage, or every time I do a presentation in a class or a lesson, I prepare it as hell.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
I'm doing it again. And I have my sisters and my brother. We're all in business. So one of my tightest sisters, she's very well known in public speaking and branding and how to talk better and how to expose your ideas better. She's the toughest judge and audience I've ever had, and she still is. You know, Kika, it was good what you said, but you could have. Oh shit! Okay. I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
You got. I would say that be humble to keep on learning.
Yeah.
What can you do better? I usually, every time I give a talk or say something, I ask for feedback, but hopefully honest feedback. Because everybody's like, yeah, you did it great. But I'm like, I don't want you to tell me, yeah, you did it great. Did you learn something? Did I make you think something different? No. What would you have expected for me to say in order to do that? That's like the typical 3 questions I ask after a talk. Did you learn something? I'm obsessed in people learning something from me because I'm very enthusiastic and I have a lot of energy. You can see that.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to tell me, yeah, Kika, you were very entertaining. Go and hire a clown for that. If you're bringing me along, I would love to teach you something, to share you something. So either you learn something of my knowledge or I inspire you to move something in your life. Number 2, if you learn something, if you would have add something that I didn't say, and if I make my point clear. And one of the other key points I've learned so far, it's tops 3 ideas. Usually go for 1. But if you put too many things, there's too many things to remember, then you don't remember anything.
Yeah, for me, like whenever I publicly speak, if I'm really nervous beforehand, I knock out the park. But the time like I feel like I got this, I'm too confident, I totally blow it. If I'm confident, I got this, no problem. And I just like.
Yeah, yeah, so much. I love the adrenaline and the tingleness
Yes.
that you have before it coming up. It's amazing, yeah, but I've tanked them. People don't, I think that, because I'm very enthusiastic and I have a lot of energy, and once I know I'm like not doing it the best, but I still put a lot of energy, they're like, no, you couldn't show that you were nervous. And I was like, shit, I was nervous as hell. Like, once you know who the audience is, you're like, please. Sorry.
No, you can cuss.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please, don't let me shit my pants. Please. I'm like that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna. Okay. And when I start speaking very, very, very fast, that's when I'm too nervous.
Yeah, that's not the same thing too. So my brain works. So I actually constantly tell myself, slow down. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's pushing you. And I usually put somebody in the audience. Well, there's this amazing book. Anyone who's wondering how to talk in public, Confessions of a Public Speaker. One of the best books I've read for that. How to prepare, how to push the audience, how to behave, how to do stuff like that.
So I think your last speaking thing was you're recently an MC at a Korean startup group, right?
Oh.
And I saw your post on LinkedIn. So can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm here right now. I'm here in Seattle. As I was saying, we have this agency back home. Well, we work in Chile and Latin America. And there was this big event of Shopify in Toronto, and we were invited to this event. And I have a very good friend of mine who lives here in Seattle. And he introduced me 2 years ago the Korean startup group. So I met Brian Frost, amazing guy, and I told him I'm coming this way, this side of the world. So and he told me there was this opportunity to MC the AI roadshow for Korean startups. I do a lot of events back home. Of course I can MC. But I've never realized what emceeing an event in the state means. Of course, I was enthusiastic and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I can do it. And well, I applied for the job. I got the job. And once I got here, I got to meet with all the people from the Korean startup group. And they were like, okay, Kika, this is the itinerary. First, you have to welcome the people. Then you got, I was like, oh, this is like people. I'm usually the moderator. I'm the one interviewing people in events, like doing the panels and stuff like that. I do welcome a lot of people, but I've never done it like professionally. I do it for my events and all the things related to ecosystem. And I was like, okay, so Korea. And forgive me, I don't know many people from Korea. What's the culture like? What are the things I can do and what I cannot do? I usually joke a lot. You cannot joke, Kika. We have authorities at the beginning. Okay. Then I realized they speak English. I do speak a lot of English, but they didn't talk too much. So okay, so I can mess up something if I don't say the proper word. It's not gonna be wrong. Then I had to start introducing the people. Ching Chong Wan. And I was like, how the hell you say this name? And I was like writing down. Okay, Ching Chong Hong. Ching Chong Hong. No, Chong Hong. So it was quite challenging at the beginning. And it was a long event. It was from 12:30 to 6 p.m. I was the one like keeping the pace of the event, which I really enjoyed. But it was really challenging because there was a lot of people from a different culture. I'm from Latin America. We express ourselves. We talk a lot. We talk strong. We have personality. Koreans are like, thank you, which I find it fascinating, but it's challenging. I was like, welcome everybody. We're gathered here today to see all the startups, the things that are trending and that we're going to see all around the world, new inventions. And I was like, okay, we're going to be giving our first welcome.
So no feedback from the crowd at all, pretty much.
No, at the beginning, no. Because I think that I was also a novelty for them. I think that
they're like, man, she's happy. Man, she talks a lot.
Yeah. And they're like, okay. And after a while, once I started joking, they were like, wah, ha, ha. And they were starting like, and what my main target for the event was to showcase the startups. Brian told me that they wanted people to attraction so they can do business. They can not just invest, but they can do alliances or bring them up. So I remember this part. I was like, okay, we're gonna go into a break, but we need to know who's here. Okay, I don't remember, but the hazard guys, please raise your hand. And I was doing something that for them wasn't right. Raise your hands. Where's your stand? Okay. And he was like, then there was the Korean guy here. Okay, everybody look around, turn around and see. Yeah, there's where you're gonna go. I started joking around, and after that they were like, okay, thank you so much, you did it. That's what we wanted. So
nice.
It was tough as hell. I think I didn't sleep the 2 nights before. What if I don't do it? What if I do this? What if I mess up? What if I do so? I say something wrong. Now I gotta consider everything with everything online. Somebody might be taping you, so you gotta be more careful, especially with this cultural difference. I was kind of.
But you pulled it off.
But then it was like all the things I did. Fuck it. Come on, let's go.
Just have some fun.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't hire me again.
So is this the only reason you're in Seattle, or are you doing other things in Seattle during your time here?
No. Well, I came here because of that, but no. I got to realize that there's a big opportunity here. As I was saying, I have this friend, and we're usually 2 years ago. I came here because of other event of Shopify, and I started wondering that there was a lot of companies that wanted to go and sell into Latin America, but they tend to think that Latin American companies or countries were all the same. And I was like, okay, we all speak Spanish, but we're totally different. And so we started like exploring that kind of connection, like bringing US companies into Latin America. That was the first thing that we started doing here. And now I've realized that there's a very big opportunity to show, enable, and teach companies how to increase their sales.
Speaking of sales, like you always have like follow up, right? Like how often should someone follow up? Until forever, or like after 5 you should stop following up with the customer? Like what's your advice on following up?
On following up for them, I would say the same. How long do you want to sell them? There's a difference in following up and stalking somebody.
yeah. Sometimes
There's
it's fine line.
Yeah. You should follow up. If you stalk, they're gonna hate you. If you follow up, they'll consider it. So what I think is that if you have a product or you have a service that it's going to make their life easier, happier, funnier, why they won't like it? Why they won't have it? You gotta showcase it in the right way, with the right form, with the right channels. I think that there's a misconception about selling. Like whenever I say the word, it happens worldwide. If I say the word, you're a seller, you're like, oh. The first image that comes into your head is like the sales car of used cars, like from movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the sailor that it's pushing you into into saying yes, and you end up with a shitty car, broke down half a mile out, and you hate that guy because it's too pushy. You weren't able to say no, and they offer you something that it's not good for you. That's a misconception, and I would say that it used to be true, or it is true, unless you start thinking about who you're selling to. Because if I do understand who I'm selling to, what are their needs, what is his or her life, what are the pain points, and what does he or she complains about, and I have something that can solve that problem, it's an amazing gift. It's an amazing thing. But as long as you do the math, if it doesn't work, they're gonna hate you and they're gonna think that you're pushing into it.
So should people be using cold emails and cold calling, or should they only be trying to only sell to warm leads?
Of course they can use cold calling. Cold calling is not dead. Stupid calling is it? I hate to say it, but I think that it's not the channel, it's the way you use the channel that's wrong.
You should need to get a meme, stop stupid calling.
Yeah, I would say that there's a beautiful line in Forrest Gump. Stupid is what stupid does. He said it in a bench when somebody called him stupid. Stupid is what stupid does. Why I'm saying this in this harsh way, because people don't get it otherwise. Cold calling, what's it? I want to offer you something that you might think it's interesting. You don't know me, you have to trust me. If you trust me, you're gonna purchase. If I use cold calling, which is totally normal, I have to give you something of offer, of value, in order for you to take it. If I cold call you, hey Jason, hello, my name is Kika. I have an amazing company that teaches people how to sell, and I think that you should have me here in your podcast. And I've been doing this.
Like, whoa, slow down.
That's a way. Hey Jason, how are you? Saw your podcast. It's so amazing the people that you bring along. I've been learning so much about you. I found it really interesting. What's your approach on the people that you bring? No, you know what? I want to give my audience something of value, teach them a different views. Oh, amazing. Are you willing to learn a bit more about different ways of approaching customers and selling to them? Yeah, of course. Would you be willing to give me 5 minutes for me to pitch you my company?
Yeah, perfect.
Same thing, done in a different way. If I don't put the customer first and his or her needs, it's impossible to sell something.
So what characteristics do you find make a good or even a great salesperson?
There's this other awesome guy who's called Daniel Pink, and he teaches persuasion, and he does a masterclass, and he one of the interesting things he says is that first you got to understand who you're talking to. You gotta listen what they need, and you gotta figure out how you can solve their issues, whatever it is. So for a good seller, it's not. There was this study if introvert or extroverts were best sellers.
It's gonna be, I think it's introverts.
You would say introvert? Yeah. Most people said extroverts.
Yeah, because you're talking and blah blah.
You're blah blah blah.
Yeah, a good salesman doesn't talk all the time, right?
Some people said, of course, it's introvert because extroverts talk a lot, and it's an in between.
Okay.
Because an introvert also don't show the offer.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
I was in a training the other day, and they were saying, it's not that you don't talk in a business call, in a business meeting. It's you have to lead the conversation in not talking about yourself. You have to talk because the other person doesn't know what you can offer, but you have to manage the conversation in order to achieve most information in order to offer something. But you don't have to talk about yourself. If I come here and I'm telling you, I'm the best, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful, I'm this and that, you're gonna say, cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with you because you make me like this. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. But
So what is a business engineer?
business engineer is, I would say it's like studying business here. It's a word in Spanish is business engineer, but I study business.
Okay.
I don't have anything of engineering.
And then you also co-founded a company called Loading Play.
Yeah, that was the first company. I used to work for a corporate world. I sold for years ice cream, which was amazing. I learned a lot. I left my feet on the streets, which I learned like, that's how I learned how you gotta realize who your customer is. I worked for years for a bank, learning how to give funding to small SMBs, these amazing projects as well. And then I left the corporate world and I joined a first startup. And this is Loading Play. One of my friends from university was building this tech company. And they were building this e-commerce platform long time ago where there was nothing back home in Chile. Shopify didn't exist so far. It wasn't adapted for Latin America reality. So I started there. We built this amazing platform. 5 years on that. And Shopify landed in Latin America. And there was like $100 million companies with 100 grants from Chilean money, which was impossible to fight, and this didn't make sense. So we regrouped and we turned it into a hub, an integration platform, integration and automation platform, and that's how I started in the startup entrepreneur like road in.
And you also teach e-commerce at the MBA level at a university down there?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
So far, 3 seasons. When the pandemic started 2020, they offered me a teaching position in my university, teaching e-commerce, which at the beginning I said no, but then I said yes, and I started teaching it was in a special course that had first, second, third, yeah, it has all the years. I love teaching. I hate doing to first graders or first year. I don't know how you say it. I don't believe in pushing people that you have to attend because otherwise you're gonna be you're too old for that. I'm not gonna be your mother. It's up to you. So I taught a semester, like a formal course, and after that I decided I was never gonna teach a whole course because it's a lot of work. And I'm not in that stage of life. So I come into a season, they bring me as a special teacher. I teach my lessons. I gave the update of the world, and then I go back.
So what's something you've done that you're proud of that most people don't know about? Like it's not out there for public knowledge.
Why am I proud?
But people don't know about it.
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm really proud of a personal process I've been handling. Yeah. I set myself a journey of learning and understanding who I was, what I wanted from life. Been working on that for almost 15 years so far.
Why is it important for us to be like lifelong learners?
Because I don't know any other way of life.
Doesn't it make some people like stop learning when they turn 18 or 21?
Yeah, I think it's the other day I was having this argument, which is this is what I think. Life changes every moment, every second, every minute. If you are not able to adapt to change, you're gonna be lost. But it's a way of living. I found out so far that there's some people that loves. Actually, 10% of people read. Only 10%.
Actually, I'm surprised it's that high, I'll be honest with you.
Regularly.
Yeah.
10%. Of that 10%, 1% is a creator of content. 9% of that 10% is a collaborator in the creation of content. And the other 90% is, how do you call it in English? It's somebody that just take advantage of all the knowledge of other people. I am a great believer, if you want something different, you gotta go and change it. And in order to do that, you gotta be able to adapt, learn, and bring something to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know other way, because I'm excited every time I learn something new. I'm the kind of person that learns something, and I'm usually thinking, how am I gonna share it? I learned this new technique. I learned I with one of my sisters, we talk all the time. I found this podcast, and she was saying something really, really important, because she was saying that if you want to do something, what do you think? No, yeah. And Jose, which is one of my sisters, she's like, yeah, but Kika, you gotta see it from this other perspective, because if you do this, that's amazing. And you know what? And we go like this hours. So I would answer to that question, if you are surrounded by people like that, you're gonna enjoy it so much. But I've learned how to transit in between these two worlds, where I go with my friends from high school, which I love. They're my best supporting group on everything. But I can talk a bit about the things I'm learning. Because after that, Kika, what are you learning now? And I'm like, okay, just this. No, when I started I'll put you an example. AI. I hated it. I hated it so much. Everybody talking about AI a couple of years ago. And it's when you hate something, but you have to learn it. I hated it, because it's the way I see it. I love contact with people. I love exchanging ideas and stuff like that. And I tend to push in another sense or the different way. So I was very reluctant to that. But I knew I had to learn. So, of course, something bad happened in the company, and I had to go deep dive, and I learned how to use GPT. And I was obsessed. Well, usually when I learn something, I go, and I started learning a bit more, and I started learning a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, and I got obsessed. And the more I learned, the more I deep dive, the more I learn, the more I know how to treat it, how to work with it. So I came the other way. You know what? I'm learning this. No, you don't understand. This is amazing. This can do this, this, and this. But you gotta teach it. You gotta learn it. You gotta teach it. It made me a better boss. Because I have to be because you eliminate friction, emotions, and you have to be very straightforward in what you ask in order to get a better answer. You know what? This is what I learned. And I was like, AI, you gotta use this tool to make your life easier. And I started evangelizing. It took me a year. After a year, and every time I was like, no, you know what, GPT, I did this, and Kika, you and your GPT, you and your GPT, you and your GPT. It took one of them. You know what? I saw this in GPT, and I was like, I've been telling you. And they were like, can you teach us how to use GPT? And I was teaching them a lesson. Yeah. So this is the basics, and those are kind of the things that happen.
So what do you want to learn next?
What I want to learn next now. One of the things I'm realizing is that skills, knowledge, it's going to be the difference in the future. The more skilled you are, the better you can take advantage of the things that are going to change. So I'm learning now how to talk better, how to be more precise, and how to have a better leadership.
Okay. And so you have a LinkedIn newsletter. What's the purpose of your newsletter?
To share knowledge, to share experience. I've learned that one of the things I love, but I really love, is networking. But networking, not just taking to the events and have a drink. No, I hate that. I love connecting people. If you need something back home, I'm going to connect you with somebody that's in your field, that it's going to give you some knowledge, and that you're going to exchange ideas, and you're going to make something better. I love that. So I love connecting people all the time, and I've realized that since I love traveling, I've been mixing these two passions of mine, business and travel. And I attend a lot of events worldwide. I go to this eCommerce forum in Brazil, that it's the biggest in Latin America. I came here to a Shopify event. So I I translate all I see, I live and I learn, and I share it with the world.
What's been your favorite travel destination so far?
My favorite, I don't know, I'm coming to Hawaii. But so far, I love the U.S. I like it very much. I think it's very interesting to see the culture, which is so different. I love living neighborhoods, like living the way. I'm now at a house of some people on the underground, like I don't know how you call the basement, like
The basement, your basement, yeah.
Basically, I'm in the basement, and I'll go running. I see all the persons in school. I got to share with startups. I was at an event the other day. I love doing that. If it's in the States, amazing. If it's in Mexico, amazing. Brazil.
What's a place you haven't been to yet that you want to go to? Africa? Okay.
I would love to go. There's my bucket list is Africa. It's Middle East, which I haven't been. Especially, I want to go into. I know it's a quite complex subject, but I would love to go to Israel, Palestine, that place. I was raised in a Catholic school, so I'm really intrigued with that. And I want to go to Australia, New Zealand. Those are the places those are the continents I don't know yet.
Okay. What advice do you have someone like hasn't traveled yet, but they want to start traveling?
Wherever your money take you, go.
Go, yeah.
Go. What's the worst that can happen? You're gonna enjoy it.
So, is business done differently in different countries, or is business basically business no matter where you go to?
God, interesting question. I would say that business is business. Wherever you go, the only big difference is the way that people take a decision. For example, if you go and make business with people in Mexico, Mexicans are gonna take a long time to say no. Colombians are gonna take a long time, but they're gonna say no. They don't. In Latin America, besides Chile, all the other countries are not so straightforward. They're more relationships based, and here in the U.S., either you like it or you don't, which is kind of similar to Chile. But I would say that the motivations and what moves people, basically the same.
So what kind of misconceptions do you think people outside of Chile have about doing business in Chile or entrepreneurship in Chile?
I was talking about this morning, and I would say that Chile is an amazing, but it's a really tough market. It's very competitive. We are a 17 million country, 17 million people country. That would be 2 states of the U.S. And that's a population that we have. So we're very high end. It's very competitive. So whatever you want to bring into the market, you gotta really test it like really good, because it's used and has been used as a test market like forever. I remember when I was working for Nestle, we usually try a lot of worldwide initiatives in Chile. If it succeeds, it was going to succeed all around the world. And I would say it's an amazing market to test. It's an amazing market to try different things. A/B testing, it's wonderful. And if you want to succeed, if you do it in Chile, you can do it anywhere.
So how is the tech startup scene in Chile? Is it pretty advanced?
Yeah. No, we have a lot. There's these 2 poles. Everything happens in Santiago. Half of the businesses are.
That's the capital, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say it's 50% concentrated. All the business is done in Santiago, and there's two other poles, which is the north, all the mining business. We're very strong in mining, and you have Concepcion, which is a small city down south at the beginning, where it's high tech, very very big, and it's evolving so much, and it's so interesting because it's highly tech, highly biotech. It's pretty much like this, but I would say that here in Seattle you have the Washington University, and there's a lot of technology being developed around that. In Concepcion happens the same. There's a lot of universities, and they're making a lot of technology towards the city and stuff like that.
So Chile's pretty much like a long, slender country, right?
Yeah.
Like
you can have 4 seasons in one country.
Yeah. So how does that affect the culture there, the business there?
It's totally different.
Okay, I'm guessing people down south do stuff differently from people way up north.
Yeah, I would say that everything happens in Santiago, which I hate, but it is what it is. And all the other regions. We call them regions. As they have access. They're very local, but they have access, and you're used to buying things from Santiago. It's very common that from Santiago you can go up north, south, and you provide all the other regions. It's more usually common to see companies in Santiago provide the others than other regions providing to Santiago.
Does Chile pretty much have like good relations with its neighboring countries
Yeah.
for the most part?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does, but I would say that we were used to do more things, but I would say that our neighbors, and it's been a tough situation back in Latin America because Argentina has been broken for the last 20 years, which is, it depends on the year how much you go to Argentina or not, how convenient it is. Peru is very undeveloped. Then you have Bolivia, which also very undeveloped. I would say that Chile usually trades with Colombia or Mexico mainly, and Brazil some, because Brazilians are very local. They only do business with Brazilians. So yeah, I would say that Chile, it depends on which sector you're talking about. If it's everything related to agriculture, cherries and stuff like that, they go into China, and then we supply the US.
So what kind of agriculture is like really big in Chile? Like oranges or pineapples, or like what's the big crop there?
We do, as for fruits, I would say apples, cherries, lots of avocado. You have also apricots and how do you call this word? It's called I forgot the name, but we have a variety. The only difference is that pineapple, mango, and that kind of fruits, it's like more in the Caribbean sector, more warmer sectors. We're more like I don't know, cherries, strawberries, boysenberries, and stuff like that. And how do you call the blueberries?
Blueberries, yeah. So how do you see AI impacting e-commerce?
It's gonna be the new thing, I would say. If I had a bet, I was listening to somebody that was saying something about where do you invest now? You gotta invest in companies that are AI first and AI driven. Not in a sense that they only do AI. That's not going to work. But how they bring AI into the company. I would say that at least for e-commerce, it can make your life easier. And one of the things that happen now so far is that before all this boom of AI, you as a customer, you were expecting companies to talk to you as, hello Jason, how are you? And a couple of years ago, it was kind of tough to do exactly that because we didn't have all the tools in order to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and how to approach to you. That myth has been broken, and with AI you can personalize things. You can personalize an offer, you can personalize the way you handle a customer. So now the perception of the public and the customers have changed, and they expect that. So how do I see AI in e-commerce? Personalization, shorten the road into learning things and taking better decisions in the way you operate a business.
So what's your advice to someone, especially like a young woman who wants to get a business or be an entrepreneur?
Go for it. Try it. What's the worst that can happen? You fail. Okay, you fail. But you learn.
And then what is a merge lab? A merge lab?
In the pandemic, I think it was 1 million jobs were lost for women in Chile because of the pandemic. So the breach, you say, the difference in between the access that women had for business and equality suffer a lot. And Emerge, it's one of the initiatives I participate, and we were pushing, and we built a company builder with a lot of other women in business in order to create new jobs and new offers for women and it's an initiative. I'm an ambassador and an investor in that, and we provide training and new businesses for small companies that are led by women.
So what's one thing about Chilean culture you wish the rest of the world knew about?
Sorry.
What's one thing about Chilean culture that you wish everyone in the world knew about?
We're nice people, and we love doing nice things, and we are not undeveloped country. I would think that.
That is one negative about Americans. A lot of Americans think every other country is underdeveloped, but it's not. It's so far from the truth.
So far, and I've been sitting in some talks where I'm like, "You think I'm developed? Hey." I've learned. I think that we both have myths that we have to break.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that U.S. companies, at least companies, were more evolved than what they are. No, I think that, but it's a numbers thing. Because you got to see the news, you got to see all that's happening in the startup e-commerce and all that world, and you see a lot of U.S. companies, European companies that are having such a success, so many unicorns, so much stuff, then you assume that all the companies are like that. But as well as you look at Chile and you see, there's a lot. 17 million people to 1 million companies. 300 million people to 20 million companies, more or less, I think. I don't know the official number. But of course, there is a very big gap in between the successful companies and the others. So what I've learned is that there's a lot of opportunities that they just don't know how to work them out. And so I had to break the myth, and I thought that everything in here was already solved, already have a solution, that there was no opportunity. I'm so happy to say I was wrong. That gives me a reason to be here as a businesswoman. And that's a big myth. And I've learned so far that even there's a political chaos now. Business is business.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a business one way or another. So they're gonna. I was talking to this guy from an association here, and he was like, because of all the things related to tariff, he was like, business is business. Companies are gonna find a way how to sort the market, how to source it better, how to do it. And I would say that that's one big myth I broke. And in order to say about Chile, we're amazing. Come learn with us. Come enjoy our culture. We are very much more like the US than you think. The only difference is that we enjoy being around people who hug each other. We are passionate about life. We love laughing, and I think that's one of the big difference I would say between Chile and the US. Here you're more cold.
Yeah,
like,
definitely more distant.
Hello, how are you? When we meet somebody, we kiss. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
If you don't know them, then you extend the hand. But it's quite. I love it here, being here, because I'm a woman and I don't want to kiss everybody. But I'm like, yeah, nice to meet you. So here I put my hand. But once you know it, you hug it. You enjoy people. In here it's like my space, my time. In here you take space. Give him some space, and I'm like, space your ass. Come on, talk to me. What's the problem? Tell me your issue. Like, let's solve it. Give him space. I'm like, what space? Space for what? Tell me what's wrong so we can solve it.
Do you have a favorite place in Chile?
I have a favorite. I love. I love one of my seasons. One of my sisters lives in Pucón, the south. I love the south of Chile, the Lake District. I love nature. I enjoy nature so much.
Suppose you had a friend in the States and they said, hey, Kika, I want to come visit Chile for 2 weeks. Be my tour guide. What would you like have them do or see?
Go and see the wine country. It's amazing. We have such an amazing wine. I'm a wine fan. I always wonder if I would work in wine, but they never accepted me, so I did. I would bring them to wine country. Colchagua, it's amazing. We have a lot of wineries and wine stores. It's very beautiful. The beach. One of the good things about being at such a thin country is that once you're in Santiago, you're an hour and a half from the beach. You're an hour from the mountain. You can go skiing. You can go to the beach, and you are 2.5 hours away from wine country. And so, if you are only going to have 2 weeks, you would want them to spend them in Santiago. Or if you have 3 weeks, you can go up north and see the desert, which is so dry. It has amazing views, but it's so dry. You can go to the south, to Patagonia, see the glaciers, the lakes. You have everything. It's very difficult to choose. It's so much to see.
Are there any like local startups or founders in Chile that us in America should be known about?
Yeah, of course. There's these. There's tons of entrepreneurs now building amazing things. There's this one called Polyglotas, which is a school for learning languages. They evolved a lot, which is amazing. There are these guys doing, they're analyzing and doing testing in order to find out some illness ahead of time without being taken into the hospital, just testing like rural zones and seeing if you can detect like early stage cancer and stuff like that. There's a lot of biotech going around there. Let me see. There's this amazing woman entrepreneur circle back home. Technology, biotech, industry, medical services, business, a lot of women-owned businesses. There's a lot. Yeah, I cannot choose because there's a lot of things happening now.
How is like the VC angel investor investment community down there? Are startups they're able to like, get the money they need in Chile, or they have to go abroad to raise the money?
It depends the ticket you need if you have to go abroad. Because I would say it's been evolving. If we were talking 10 years ago, there's a lot of government funding for early stage, but it was a disconnection between early stage and next phase, which in the last 10 years has been like shortened a lot. There's this company, it's called Brota, which is a crowdfunding company which funds lots of startups, which is an amazing company that's brought a lot of new entrepreneurs into the business. And I would say now, this is a year a lot of VCs has come into, a lot of family offices have also been participating of the entrepreneurial scenery.
So let's suppose a company in the US, they want to do business in Chile, they've never been there before. What advice do you have to this company to do business in Chile?
You gotta really spend time. I would go a month in advance to know the culture, know the people, and after that I would think about coming into Chile, because it's not a copy paste. We are very culturally challenging, meaning it has to be a very well finished product or service. It has to be Spanish native, cause there's not too many people that speak English. You can have an English version, but you have to have a Spanish version, even in a pipeline at least. It's also very, I would say that one thing that is different is that you want to make business connections, and networking is very important, especially if you're starting, because I only trust you if I know you. If I don't know you, I won't trust you.
So what do you see as the future of e-commerce?
Keep on growing a lot, so much more. We're just seeing an early stage. There's a lot of brands coming into e-commerce. Marketplaces are like showing, there's a difference from here. In here, if you're not Amazon, Etsy, eBay, have a very big presence in the US market. So a D2C company might want to start selling in a marketplace rather than a D2C. In Chile, it's not like that. There's a lot of D2C, and marketplaces are just like coming around. The same is happening in Colombia, but if you go to Mexico, everybody sells through a marketplace, so it depends on where the country you are, how the market behaves. And I would say that it's challenging, but if you have a good offer, if you know who needs it and how to reach him, for example, the cost of acquisition of a client through digital marketing is still not cheap, or pretty cheap comparing to here. So there's a very big market. The only difference is that I was talking to this Chai lady the other day. If you want to export, I would do it once you really exploded your market here. Because it doesn't make that much sense to branch out if you have a 3 million people country. To go into Chile, which is only 17, don't know if that makes so much sense. Rather seeing the market. But if you see that there's a very typical way in sense of culture and the things that you might be offering are like really well fit, go for it. You're gonna buy it for sure.
And so how do you do your schedule? I mean, you're doing a lot of stuff, right? So how do you like do your schedule? I'm guess you don't wing it. Like, do you run it by Google Calendar? Do you like Mondays do one company, Tuesday do school, Thursday do something else?
I would love, if somebody could help me with that, I would really appreciate it. What I've learned so far is that I can do two things at the same time. So I'm working on the three main goals of the day. All my focus now it's on developing. I would say I go by week. I don't go by day. I play a very specific role in each company, and I have my personal assistant is my savior. He's the one who works around with me, making things fit. But I go very basic. What are my main three goals this day? How to sort them out. I love using Asana to see what my priority are. And I usually wake up every day asking myself, how do I conquer the world today?
And you wake up the same time every day?
I would love to say yes. When I'm back home, I do. I usually wake up at 7. We have a different time zone, but also a different, here the sun comes out at 5 a.m. in the morning. At home, if it's winter, it comes out at 7:30. And if it's summer, at 6:30. But never at 5 a.m. in the morning, sorry.
No worries.
It never comes out this early. So I try to wake up in between 7, but in here, since we are 3 hours ahead, back home they're 3 hours ahead, all my meetings start at 9, so I'm up at 6 a.m.
So this person's saying you're doing a great job on the podcast.
I love her, Jamie! I love her. She's Jamie. She's from the Korean startup group. I love her.
Cool. So what's the future hold for you?
I don't know, and I'm willing. I know I want to conquer the world. I know I have a lot to offer, and I'm proud of what I've done so far. I think that right now I'm in this moment in life where you know that something's going to switch so big. I'm a bit terrified, but at the same time I'm thrilled. But so far, I want all my businesses to succeed. I want to keep on teaching people and sharing content around the world, enabling women and businesses to grow. I would love, my dream is to reach 1 million companies.
And do you mainly do business in Chile, United States?
Yep.
What's the next country you want to go try to expand to?
I want to bring it for real here. I'm just doing
discovery, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm just seizing the market, reaching out. What I've learned so far, it's the way I do business. I go and match with a very big association or somebody that gathers a lot of companies. Because I'm nobody here. If you go back home, I know some people. Here, I'm just I'm the friend of a friend of a friend, which I love. And I'm happy to grab those friends. I don't know why Seattle like seduces me so much. Been in Portland for the weekend. I also loved it. And I think the vibe is different. Like people wants to do things, they don't know how, and I know how to teach them. So I think there's a big opportunity. I'm trying to match with, as I was saying, associations that know a lot of people or gather a lot of companies in order to make it easier to approach more companies. I want to reach, I want to reach 1 million companies. That's my main goal. Imagine this, if I reach 1 million, at least there are 4 persons attached to each company. So it's not 1 million, it's 5 million. And if you 5 million offer jobs, and I believe that people can change and reality can change if you want it. You just need the tools and the work.
So what is like Chilean food? What is known as Chilean food?
Barbecues.
Barbecues, okay.
Amazing. We're very traditional. Like we have some main dishes which are amazing. I do envy Mexican food, Peruvian food. They're really into food culture, like so much. We're not like that. We're very simple people, like in that sense. We love barbecue, we love salads, we love. I'm a very fan of barbecue, and I love barbecuing myself.
Yeah, I'm from Texas, so we're big on barbecue in Texas.
No, you would love it. Like we have amazing beef, and I would say that one of the biggest difference from U.S. culture to Chilean culture is the gathering. Because in here you used to gather for a while, between 5 and 6. And when 6 hits the clock, you're thank you so much, nice seeing you. You are in Chile, you call people between 5 and 6. They arrive at 5:30 for sure, and they leave at 10:30.
Yeah.
After 6:30, they're like, we're gonna party.
Yeah, it's like an event.
Party.
Yeah.
Party not meaning like having a big party. No, we keep on talking and analyzing life and making big dreams and talking about this and talking about that. You never end up talking. You have subject like forever.
So the different things you do in different companies, teaching stuff, everything else you do, like how do you decide how do you divide your time up?
I don't. I'm still learning.
Okay.
I hate it. I hate that question because it's like one of my business partner, I love him. He's like, Kika, you gotta choose. I can't. I love. But you gotta focus your energy. No, I can't. So I don't make me choose because I don't know how to choose. But I tend to. What I've learned so far, it's like I go up and in the morning and I'm like, okay, what am I needed at? What is really important? What I can what makes my contribution bigger? So that's where I put the focus, and then I still believe that the day has like 28 hours.
If only it did.
I think that's the only bad thing for me. I do believe. And I'm usually running from one place to another. My mom loves a lot about that. Because she says, Kika, stop running. And I'm like, if I stop running, I'm dead. So you gotta get used to this. I'm being like this for 43 years in my life, and I'm not gonna change.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
Depends on the day.
Do you have to get the same amount every night, or just varies?
I'm working on this, please. I'm working on this, but I have the worst sleeping habits in the world, and my sleeping is awful. I wake up a lot in the night. I think I have a lot of energy and I don't canalize it the best way, so I wake up a lot. It depends on the season. Some seasons I'm like 2 or 3 times in the night, which is amazing. I usually rest a lot. There's sometimes I wake up and so. If you ask me, that's something that it's in my list. I have I do write a lot, so I have a lot of lists. And this year, sleeping is number 2.
Are you able to turn your brain off, or is your brain like always on?
No, I use a technique. I try to turn it off at night. It depends how intense the day is, but usually at night, since I've been having issues to sleep for the last 20 years, I would say, since I was in university. What I do is I never see TV in bed. It's prohibited for me. I went to a psychiatrist once, and he told me a person that specializes in sleeping habits. I don't see TV or anything in bed. I usually have a sofa, chair, or something. I end up my day 10. I wish I was earlier, by 10. Then I go into reading mode, and I usually read. I read 2 or 3 books at the same time, and I read something related to business, something related to like self-improvement, and then I read like a romance novel or something like that in order to switch the way I'm thinking.
So how you deal with like the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur? How you deal with that?
Every day there's a chance to conquer the world, but you gotta be willing to do the work in order to get there. I hate it because when I'm in the low, it takes a while, but I have a really amazing group of entrepreneur friends, female friends. We gather a lot and we talk about how lonely it is, how challenging it is, how you have this female, how you are a woman, but you have this male energy in order to do business, but you are very female into other aspects of your life, which is really challenging. And so I have this group of amazing friends that we talk a lot about this. I have my friends from school, which I love. They're my best cheerleaders, and I tend to find comfort in my family a lot. My parents are amazing. My dad, it's my best cheerleader. My mom, she's amazing, and I think that the way I comfort it is sports. I tend to release a lot of energy there, and I help myself a lot with. You saw those alarms that are ringing, and so I'm so sorry, but they remember me something about the day. The one that rings at 12 says, "Go on, you're gonna conquer the world. Go and fight for it. You can do it." I'm very into the "you can do it." Go and push it. I love phrases, and I love reminding myself of that.
Do you have any mentors that you can talk about?
Mentors? Yeah, I do. I do have my first boss. My first boss from Nestle. He is one of my. He's a really good friend of mine, and I've used him as a mentor very much whenever I'm lost. He's like the tough talk that you never want to hear, but you end up hearing. I use one of my sisters as a mentor as well. Whenever I'm trying bubbling a lot of things. I wouldn't say I've been wondering about this. Should I get more mentors and stuff like that? I think I have more than a mentor in itself. I have a lot of people I talk to. I listen a lot of lessons from which I take. I don't know. For example, I just realized I learned about this businesswoman, Emma Gree. I don't know if you know her, but she's the one who founded Good American, Skims, and very big companies here. She's British. And I just, because I was listening to some podcast that they interview her and she told about this podcast that she was going to release, I've been obsessed. And that's how I learn. That's how I think I try to reach people who can inspire me and teach me something different or put a different perspective. And I try to reach to those people, or rather see or consume all the content that they have online.
And are you mentoring anyone right now? You can talk about them.
Yeah, I'm working with two Chilean companies. One, I give a lot of advice in how to increase their sales, like how to approach the market and how to. So I participate a lot with my university. There's this alumni network where I'm a mentor. I try to just. I give 1 hour a month, mainly maybe 2 hours if somebody reach out, because I want to give back. But I try not to compromise like a long term. But I'm mentoring this very successful woman. She has this very big business, but she's like so much younger than me, and we usually go up and talked about. That's the way I I think works for me at least. I talk about life and breaking mental barriers.
So what's your approach to social media?
I hate it, but I use it.
How do you use it?
I create a lot of content and I work with people that are so much more experienced.
And are you doing like little short video clips? You doing blogs? Like what's your
a lot of videos explaining. I've learned. Well, my company, my sister's company is the one that handles my personal brand. So we define all the subjects that we want to talk about. I create the videos or I create it with her, and then she's the one who makes it happen.
And you have like a go-to platform like LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram? Like what's your go-to one?
I gotta say I hated social media 5 years ago, but I still don't like it that much. I don't understand oversharing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't get that either.
I've never got it, but I've realized it's a platform where a lot of people learn. And when the pandemic hit, when COVID happened back home, it was awful. And we were one of the 2 countries in the world that had like a serious lockdown. Nobody knew how to do online business. Nobody knew how to talk in simple ways, like everybody could understand. So I become the go-to girl. There were no women talking about this. And since I used to work with SMBs before, I was able to translate this technical world into something simpler. So I started giving a lot of talks. And I hated social media. I really hate it. The only social network I used was LinkedIn because I thought it's business. So I'm not sharing my life. I'm not going to share that I'm having a coffee with a friend. I don't understand that yet. But I do believe in LinkedIn because it was business. I could share my thoughts. I could share the ways I was thinking in terms of business. And once COVID hit, I started doing a lot of talks. I was giving 2 or 3 talks per week, a lot. And I remember this. I hate it. Social. So we built the social networks for the company, for the Kickass, and we were giving all the advice through that. And until one small entrepreneur, he was asking, I came out of stage and he was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" Of course. I still find it weird that they want a picture, and he was like, "Can you give me your Instagram?" Yeah, of course, call the Kickass at. No, I don't have a public one. Why not? I don't like it. Kika. But I the company, I share everything on the company. And he was like, "Yeah, but it's a company. We're trusting you."
Yeah.
Okay. That was the day I decided to build a public account.
Build a personal brand more.
Yeah. And I'm using a lot TikTok now for content because I've learned it's a platform that they consume a lot of content, and every time we publish something related or data or KPIs or stuff that they want to learn on how to work the abandoned cart and stuff like that, it's amazing the impact. Like we just started, remember, 70 million people, very small business. We've got videos with 100,000 views.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, TikTok's amazing.
And I was like, what?
And people always say, "Oh, TikTok's young females dancing." Like I follow so many smart people, like educating, like STEM and stuff.
Way.
Yeah,
well,
it's so much stuff on there.
I thought the same. We had the same math. That only old people and young dancers were in TikTok. I think that's how it started.
It's so much more now.
It's evolved so much.
So much more. I learned so much on there.
People is learning, and I love teaching. I love sharing content. So, the next challenge now is Sell With Kika, make it a official brand and start sharing content, which is going to be challenging because we got to share content in English because we need more people to know about us, which I know we're going to be. Remember this day. I know we're going to make a big difference here because we have a lot to share and there's a lot of need for companies. In a challenging world, you need to adapt. Definitely.
So at what age or what happened in your early career, like, you know what, I might be pretty good at this business stuff. Like, I'm like, I might be pretty great at this business. What happened for you to that click in your mind? Like, this is going to be a career for me. I'll be able to make a good life doing this.
I never saw myself as an entrepreneur. Never. If I would, I thought I was gonna make it like a, I don't know, CEO of a big company, or like I was going to do corporate world. That was my path, and I started that way. And then I started to realize it didn't suit me very well, all this brand manager, and if you are not a manager, and I didn't understand. I had never understand that way of that world. That's why I quit. I got into entrepreneurship by coincidence because I was switching to go into work in the wine industry, but they didn't hire women to be export managers because they wanted guys, because it's a very male related, or it was 10 years ago. And the thing is, once I started this, I got to see the impact I was having. I'm a really honest person. If I don't like what I see, I'm gonna tell you. Try to use fancier words or nicer words, but I would push your limits. And when I started doing talks, I gotta see the impact of persons like willing to do something different. That's when I realized. I remember being on stage. There was 1,000 SMBs listening at that moment, and I was like, shit, I'm good at this, and I can help. And I think that when your heart and your mind are aligned, it's impossible not to succeed. And when I started the Kickass, I said, give me 5 years. Give me 5 years, and I'll sort things out. I'm in the 5th year. It puts a lot of pressure, but I know it's the right one. I think that you need that adrenaline in life in order to move and to push things forward.
So what's going to be your approach as far as like bringing your company to the United States market?
What's going to be my what, sorry?
Your approach to coming to the US market.
You want to make money? Come join me. Simple as that. No. Well, you know that people tend to move more because they lose money rather than they win. It keeps you up at night that you don't have money in the bank, not that you're like floating in millions. So I would say that whoever is tired of losing money and knows that they have a good product but they don't know how to do it, well, I'm the person. I see business crystal clear, so it's easy for me. We have built a methodology that works with that, how to understand a business, how to see the opportunities, and how to match them with a learning skill or ability that you need to develop in order to achieve that.
So when someone reaches out to you to be on your platform, like how do you know their business is the right match for your platform?
I would say that whoever wants to grow is a match. Where there's a will, there's a way, there's a saying. And I would say that it doesn't matter the business, if there's an honest willingness to grow, and they're stuck because they don't know the market, they don't know how to reach, and they have a good product, I can help. That's for sure. It doesn't matter which line of work you are. Business is business. Everybody needs to sell. Nobody knows how.
So true.
There's this Scottish poet who said, everybody lives by selling something. Rather your time, your knowledge, your skills, your abilities. If you're a teacher, you sell knowledge. If you're a housewife, you sell your time. If you wanna, I don't know, if you have a good friend and you want to introduce her into a new girlfriend, you sell him.
Yeah.
Everybody have to sell something in order to live, to make money, unless you are a nice rich person that I don't know, had a big inheritance and stuff like that. But nobody knows how. Everybody either is ashamed, it's too introvert, it's too doesn't have the confidence, doesn't know how, and doesn't know the skill. It's not about the skills. doesn't know that knowledge, the words, the way, and you can work that. It's teachable.
So how often do you plan on coming back to the States?
As long as I have the money. I think at least every quarter.
Okay.
I'm expected to be here. I have a business partner who is here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm gonna be the one traveling, go back and forth. But I have a person here already.
Nice.
I have a local. Otherwise, it's impossible to set a company without it.
Yeah. And was this your first time here in Seattle?
This is my second
Second
time
time,
here.
okay.
I love it.
So what kind of things you like to do in Seattle?
I've been touring around. I did the underground tour.
Yeah.
Amazing. I went into Bright Stage Island. Which one is
Brainbridge
it?
Island?
Brainbridge.
Yeah, that's a nice place.
Amazing.
The views from on the Pharaoh, so yeah, it's like really
Stunning.
nice. Yeah.
And I love nature, so I really enjoyed my day there. Well, I have a lot of friends here, so I've been visiting them a lot. I work a lot. And after that, I go running and see what's happening in the places. I go into a coffee shop. I love living the city. Like, I go on walks.
Yeah.
Since it's so much more expensive than back home, I learned how to walk. I think that I used to walk like 10,000 steps a day. Now I'm like, my average would be like 18, 20 steps a day. So I walk a lot. And I love it. I love like walking the streets. But now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do this weekend. But I'm leaving on Sunday.
Yeah. How long is the flight? That long?
It takes 12 hours to go to LA and 3.5 hours more here. So between 15 to 17 hours.
Okay.
More or less.
Yeah.
It's a long run.
Yeah, that is a long run.
But it's worth it. It's worth it, totally. No, and if you want to go to Chile, you should. It's amazing.
So how do y'all make money? Is like you get a percentage of the sales on the platform, or how does that work?
Back home, we have 2 different systems. Either you pay a one shot and we audit your business and your site. That's the basic service. We audit and see where the opportunities are. The second service that we offer is we audit. We do a backlist, like a backlog. And we we program the work for 3 months. And we have this amazing service that I like your life coach, sales coach, monthly fee. And you gotta choose if you want a set price, which is around $1,500, or you have a $1,500, depends on the size of the business, or you have a set, and we take a percentage in the increased sales. If you sell 10, and with us you sell 15, we take 12% of the 5.
Okay, that sounds more than fair.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to kick a company off your platform for whatever reason?
Sorry?
Have you ever had to kick a company off your platform for whatever reason?
No, I just don't work. No. I think because people reach for us, we interview them. It's a consulting business.
Okay.
So they don't like just quote it. The products that they purchase by themselves, you could be whoever.
Is there a product that is not on your platform that you want to have on your platform?
No. I would say that I love working with what kind of business? No, I don't care. I don't like working with businesses and that I'm really that do no good. If I know, for example, back home, I don't work with big pharmaceutical businesses because I don't believe in that. I gotta believe in the business to make the best effort, and I don't work with illegal or border businesses.
Yeah. So if you're sales coaching, how you know someone's gonna be coachable?
Good question. No, I think that since we assess every business once it come, we sit down, set the goals, and see like what is the willingness into. If we don't see fit, we don't work. Doesn't matter how much you pay me. I don't care.
So you already talked about the sum, but can you go more detail about how your business got started, what you're focused on now, what your vision is for the future?
Sorry.
So you already talked about your business some, but what's like how to get started, what you focus on now, and what do you want to do with it in the future?
How my business started? Just happened. It was kind of, nobody knew how to do an e-commerce. Nobody knew how to do it well. Nobody was focusing on the experience of selling rather than setting up a website. That's how we started. No, actually that's not true. We started doing as a consultancy. Like, you want to sell more? Because my background is in sales. I worked for 8 years in the streets, selling, knowing, reaching out. And when I come into e-commerce with Loading Play and I started developing the e-commerce, I try to convince people how to do an e-commerce. And when we started the Kickass, we were like, shit, you know how to build e-commerce, but you don't understand how to sell that. And we brought all the experience of all these years working the streets and all the experience of e-commerce, and we set up the Kickass, and we were like, you want to build an e-commerce that sells? Come here. These are the things that you have to do. You have to focus on the customer. You have to know what are the attributes of the brand that they prefer. You gotta understand all the surroundings. That's how we started. It was a big opportunity back home. Nobody knew about e-commerce, or everybody that was talking about e-commerce didn't know how to really implement it in a good way. And we started expanding. We started teaching a lot of people how to do business, how to make them grow, and we started succeeding. For all the companies that we took into the accelerator, there were 10 a cohort. Of all the companies that came, all grew 100% because of what we did. And the ones that were decreasing switched the trend. So they started growing, not 100%, not 50%, but they stopped decreasing, which was amazing. And what do we expect of the future? We have a lot to give. I've seen people's happiness once they realize that they can do so much more. I think that that's one of the biggest reasons I'm in business. I've seen what happened with people, because the best thing that we do is we put a mirror and we show them what the possibilities are because of what they do. I'm not gonna invent the wheel. I don't have a magic wand. But once you show them what are the chances, how to do a right process, how to sort the right way, how to make it easy, and how to understand. The big mistake all companies do is they showcase their features. We do this, we do that, nobody wants to hear that. And once we show them that this is a way to approach a customer, this is a way to build a good experience, and this is a way to measure KPIs, and this is how you do follow-up monthly, and this is how you analyze a strategy, and this is how you build a strategy. It's easy, not that complex. Make it simple. The results are amazing.
Should the way someone sells change based on the product, or selling regardless of the product?
I would say that it sells. It doesn't matter. The product is important. I think.
I'll go fix it.
No, I'm getting a mess. Don't worry. I can fix it. I can fix it. I'm not that. Or I'll push it here. Okay. It's not about the product. It's about the process. You have to have a good product. If you are offering bottles and they leak, it doesn't matter if you offer them for free. There's no way that you're gonna have a business. But if the product is good, there is no reason why you are not here. no, this is the important things that happen when you're taping, and you can make fun of it. Ah, thank you so much. Sorry for the mess.
No. No worries, no worries. So you have big plans for your company. Do you have like a timeline for it?
We're doing 1.5 months of scoping the market, like seizing the market. I think that we're now entering the second semester. I think that the beginning of the 4th Q, we're gonna be announcing the launch of the company here with an event or something. We're partnering up with some association now, and once we have like a proven and tested way to reach the market, we're gonna go all in.
Do you ever see yourself retiring?
No. I saw this movie which I usually recommend anybody that goes into e-commerce to see The Intern.
Okay. Oh man, I love that movie. Yeah. Anne Hathaway and I think Robert De Niro. Yeah, I've watched the movie like so many times.
I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And there's this phrase that he says once he's applying to be an intern, that musicians don't retire.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah, it's very true, right?
Music. And I think of myself like that. I don't work because I have to work. Of course, I do. I have to make money for making a living. But I work because I have fun in what I do. I was just at the UW talking to this accelerator who's trying to go abroad the world and reaching out. I loved it. Then I got to meet another person. I love doing that. I enjoy doing it. And as far as I enjoy it, I'm going to do it. If it comes in time, I don't have kids yet, so maybe some things change when I have. It's not in my pipe now, but no, I don't see myself retiring.
Okay. So is there anything I should have asked you that I haven't asked you yet, or anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think I've talked a lot, but I love it. And as I told you, I can talk now. You know what? I think that I'm open. If anybody that's listening this needs help or wants to learn more about business, more about e-commerce, more about Latin America, of course, reach out. Happy to help. Of course, I'll charge you. I'm not. No. First one's free. Second, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. No, I'm happy to help. Happy. I really do love, and I know that we have the experience and the abilities to make a company switch so much. I've seen it. But basically, I'm open to help. I love what I do. I love helping, and I love everything. I love emceeing events. I love teaching about e-commerce. I love teaching about sales, and I love playing tennis. So if you want to invite me to play tennis, I would do it gladly.
Is there something you don't like to do?
I hate formalities and too many process and stuff. It's so against my personality. I do it, but I hate it.
So how can people reach out to you?
Very easy. It's Kika, Escobar, Bascur. No, it's very difficult. No, but I can give you our it's the Kickass down. How do you call the underline?
Yeah.
.co.
Okay.
That's our business. You can reach me at Kika Escobar Bascur, which is not easy to spell in English, but I can give it to you so that
yes.
They can reach me either TikTok or TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
And I'm a TikToker. No, on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Find me. The easier the platform I share most of our things is LinkedIn and TikTok.
Okay. So before we get out here, can you give us any last minute wisdom or advice, anything you want to talk about?
Any last minute wisdom? I love a phrase that Richard Branson used to say, or I think he does it say, screw it, let's do it. Once I learned it in his masterclass, I think it's one of the bravest things to stop thinking so much about something. We spend so much time thinking about the things that we want to do instead of doing. What's the worst that can happen? I tend to live by that. What's the worst that can happen? And the good thing, if you say, this is the worst, okay, that's the worst, How can you solve that? And that's the second stage. I think that one of the best books I've read, it's called The Gap and the Game. And Dan Sullivan is the one who wrote it. I should become an ambassador of that book. Sorry, tell them it. That's the way you should look life. There's two ways of looking at life. Either the gap mentality, which is 90% of people, where you stand here and you say, I want to be there. I want to go all this way. And if I'm there, I'm going to be happy. So you're chasing happiness. But you're here. And you see all the things that you lack in order to achieve that. So you see other people being more happy than you. So all the things that you need to, in order to achieve that moment, doesn't depend on what you do. It has other factors that come in hand. Rather, the game mentality, where you stand here, you look back, and you say, shit, look at all the things I've done. Look where I started, look where I am. And you got to realize what you're capable of. The way you think, what you have achieved, what you've gained, how you've changed your way of approaching life. So once you do that, you start to realize what you're capable, and you can set any challenge, and you know that you're going to achieve it. So for me, at least, that's the way I live life. And they say that one of the things that you can do in order to achieve that mentality is to, for example, give thanks, and by the end of the day, find 3 wins. For example, I'm not a morning person. I've become a morning person. So every time I wake up in the morning, I'm happy that I'm able to wake up. One other thing I love, I hate doing laundry. I hate it. So every time I do, that's a win for me, because I don't like it and I do it. That kind of wins. And when you start writing down the wins of the day, you start tracking all the moments that you won. In a good sense. Please don't be materialistic. No, in a good sense. So once you start doing that, your brain start looking life like that. So you are a more grateful person. You enjoy life, and you think that everything is possible. And once you start in the game mentality, you see things as an opportunity. You ask me, what happens if you fail? I learned something. It's the way that you see life, the way that you look at it. That's the way you live it. If I see life as an opportunity, for me it's an opportunity to conquer the world, to learn something and to do something different. If I live every day like that, I'm happy, I'm amazing, and enjoy it. I love laughing. As you have seen, I'm a very passionate woman. So I love what I do, and I love experience people, and once you gotta live your day like that, it's every day's happy. I'm not saying that, my life is happy colors. No. way not like that. But I try to push it into that. I try to believe in what I talk. If you see me on stage, you're gonna see me talking about this like very strong, and people's gonna laugh about it, and I love it. So, as a word of wisdom, in order to stop talking and not enjoy life, try to see it in the right sense. Because if you see life as a bowl of opportunities, nothing can stop you. If you see life as a bowl of challenges in a very depressing way, stop living right now. No, I'm not saying that. Please don't be. No, but you get me what I'm saying. It's a choice. Either you live on that side of the bridge, or you live in that side. But everybody has the same choice. It doesn't matter where you were born. Doesn't matter what you've achieved so far. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It's a way of looking at life. If you choose to be on this side, where you see where you are now, you're gonna open a world that you've never imagined. If you choose this side of the world, you're not gonna open nothing, because everything that you're gonna look, it's so far away, it's so unachievable, that it's very depressing. So I invite people to see it this way. Happy to.
Kika, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I think that you touched so many points that make me wonder and think a lot about it. But I had an amazing time. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And to our listeners, thank you for your time as well. Remember to be great every day.